Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day everyone. We'll proceed with our chapter 1 with 4.3 on Occupational Safety and Health Training Design and Development course. For this chapter, we will continue on how to design effective learning strategies for occupational safety and health training. Let's start with how to select training delivery methods. How are you going to select training delivery methods? You may need to consider what are the factors on what are types of a training delivery methods that you're going to choose, and you need to consider what are the pros and cons on different types for each one of the training delivery method that you choose. Factors to consider when selecting training delivery method. When selecting training delivery method, several factors that you need to be considered that chosen methods are effectively can meet the training objectives. So here are some of the key factors that you may need to consider. First of all, the training objectives and content. The nature of training objective and content can be delivered by play a significant role in selecting an appropriate delivery method. Some methods such as lectures, e-learning module may be suitable to certain types of knowledge-based training, while certain hands-on activities you may want to have a demonstrations or simulations that can provide a skill development. Second, you may need to know the characteristic of your learners. You need to know your audience. You need to understand your trainees. Understand their characteristics and preference on the audience, such as make sure you know the age gap, make sure you know and understand how many generations include in your training class, what are their educational background, and of course their prior knowledge and experience level. So from here, you may understand what is your targeted audience, and you may know how to tailor-made your delivery methods to the needs of your learners. You may understand that some learners with a good and high education backgrounds, they will appreciate more on a certain types of delivery method. Or if you have workers with a low level of educations, you may need to adjust what is your strategies when you select your training delivery methods. Accessibility and resources. Consider the resources that available for the training delivery. For example, if you choose to have a lecture class and you're going to use a PowerPoint, and make sure that you know your computer, your PC, your LCD works well and it is provided in your training rooms. Whereas if you feel that you may want to use a simulations, so you need to consider that perhaps you need to have machines for you to demonstrate students or a model that you may want to utilize as a role play during the delivery of the trainings. Besides that, you need to also consider on the training time frame on constraints. Determine how long that you need to have, so that this would prolong the time of your training delivery, and then of course the engagement and the interactivity. If you have, as again, if you have a numbers of trainees from a different education's background, or trainees with a certain set of skill, knowledge and skills, um, I need to understand to select a good training delivery method so that this will increase the engagement and interactivity. Cost and budget. Okay, so cost and budget, as I mentioned earlier, the resources. So is it available or not? All the resources, if you need to consider on the cost and budget. Scalability and reach. Assess the scalability and reach for the training methods. Determine whether these methods can accommodate to a large numbers of audience, or is it can you need to have a specific time frame for you to communicate and conduct your trainings with your trainees. So in other words, like nowadays we have the options to have a webinars or e-learning platform or virtual training method that we can the target audience can be larger. But of course, in terms of interactions and engagement, would be a little bit worrying if you choose for the virtual training method. So, in other words, you have to see the pro and cons on selecting this kind of a training method. Evaluation and feedback. Of course, when you consider certain type of delivery method, will allow for evaluation and feedback for the learner to progress. Okay, some methods you may have a built-in assessment. So some methods you can get immediate feedbacks, or some methods you can quickly understand your learners' preference when you conduct the training. By carefully considering these factors, you can select the most suitable training delivery method that could align, not only you can achieve your training objective, but of course you can increase the certain level of engagement and interactions with your trainees, and at the same times all resources and logical has been well considered. Here are the different types of training delivery method. Different types of training delivery method have their own set of advantages and disadvantages. So I would like to share with you here on each type of delivery methods. Okay, and as you can see, I already break down to the pro and cons, which I hope that you can take a look on my slide and you can go and read further. Okay, so for first one is a classroom based trainings. So basically for pro, the advantage of having this kind of delivery method is, of course, it provides the face-to-face interactions, where as a humans we need the touch, where the trainer and the trainee, you can meet up and you can have a natural communication, and it's allow a lot of activities, and it promotes a lot of discussions. However, the cons is you need to have a physical space, and it may be time consuming for the trainee to come over to your training room, and it relies on the participants availability and attendance as well. So if let's say you are in the company that you have your workers in everywhere part of the world, so maybe this is not effective if you choose that kind of delivery method. For blended learning, it combines the benefit of multiple delivery method and cater to different learning needs, preference and needs. However, for blended learning, it requires careful planning, of course, and require a lot of technology infrastructure. The third one is on the job training, or OJT. Okay, if you from the word itself, it provides hands-on experience for the workers, and it is tailor-made. But in terms of the cons, it requires dedicated time and resources from a lot of parties. Like we need to have the commitment from the trainers and supervisors to conduct this kind of training delivery method. Webinars and virtual training. This is a very popular delivery method, which is enables remote participation. Your accessibility will be larger, but again, the cons is require stable internet connectivity and suitable technology. And of course, it limits a certain level amount of a discussion between you, the trainer, and the trainee. And e-learning, okay, it offers flexibility in terms of the time and allocation, and can be very personalized learning. However, the cons is, yeah, it may lack of like we're having now, lack of face-to-face interactions and immediate feedbacks. Like for this kind of arrangement, I'm not sure what are the difficulties that you are handling now, whether you understand or not my lecture. So whether you can progress or follow my topic accordingly. So somehow e-learning discourage for the students to have more interactions and more motivations to proceed with the learning activities. Next, we move to the 4.4 design for OSH training documents. So overview of our OSH training documents. Okay, how are we going to design to make the OSH trainings document more engaging and user friendly, and what are the best practice on designing the OSH trainings documents. So an overview, what each OS trainings document is actually essential resources in any training programs, but for OS trainings, of course, we are playing and deals more on regulation and procedures. So in other words, we need to have a training manual and guides, okay, and then what are the SOPs, standards operating procedures, that outline a certain procedures and guidelines to be followed specifically to OS related tasks or activities. JSA, Job Safety Analysis Document, break down the specific job tasks into sequential steps and identify what are the hazards associated with each step. Okay, JSA documents help workers and supervisors assess risks and understand how to conduct a safe work. Safety data sheet, SDS, is formerly known as a material safety data sheet that provide detailed information about certain hazardous substances, chemical compositions. In other words, SDS are crucial for training participants on the safe, how to handle and how to storage and dispose certain types of hazardous materials. Besides that, training presentation and slides like we're having now. So training presentations and slides are the visual aids that they use to deliver certain important key informations during the trainings. Next is a checklist and form, handouts, facts, and sheets, and these training documents play a vital role in delivering effective and consistent OSH trainings. So they serve as valuable resources that support learning, reinforce safety practices, and provide participations with the necessary knowledge and tools to maintain and safe, healthy work environment. How are you going to design a user-friendly and engaging OSH training documents? Okay, make it clear and concise language. Of course, you need to incorporate with a lot of visual elements to enhance the engagement. Logical organizations, you need to use heading and subheading so that it's easier to be navigate. Engaging formattings, like you need to know how to use certain type of boxes, callouts, or certain type of highlights, colors, and font. Um, y- Use of example in scenarios, you need to provide real life experience, case studies that are relevant to the learner's work environment, user friendly layout. You need to pay attention to the document's layout to make it easy to read and navigate. And of course, if it's possible, if you can incorporate with the multimedia. So the utilizations of multimedia elements such as video and audio clips, it provides engagement, and it provide certain practical can be demonstrated. So visual and auditory components can make your training more interactive, and it's also help the participants to understand your trainings better. So with that, I would like to end for our subtopic in chapter 4. So I see you on the next topic on 4.3. With that, thank you. See you later.